Hello. So I'm thinking a lot about the music, of course, and having some tea, as we do. And I think my next one is going to be my next record is going to be one called the Beast That God Forgot, which is written here. It's kind of going to be a punk album, actually. I really hope so, somehow. I might get my mate to help me, James. I don't know if you're watching, but hey, Cricket. And so I want to do that. I want to create a punk album because I've not really done that. Although I guess my approach to music is rather punk. I realise that I haven't actually done a punk album, so I have a want to do that. That's quite good tea. I made it myself actually. It's got shredded, how do you say, orange peel in it. And it's rather good, actually. Black tea, orange peel, and some ginger. Anyway, I went out dancing last night, which is always fun, by myself on the circuit dance floor between 9 and 10. See you there. Um, oh my god, never, never. It's always just me. Or some like lurks, some like we call them like lurks, like just men that linger in the shadows, riddled with insecurity, and one imagines and other things. So, well, not that I'm not insecure, but rather I'm not that insecure. I mean, I hope not anyway. I think there's people much more insecure than me. Well, I know for a fact. Probably most of humanity. God, doesn't that sound conceited? Doesn't that sound conceited? So conceited, Miller. Don't stop me now. Anyway, another record I want to do, as I was saying in the last video, about sort of an update and things like this, there's a lot that I want to try and get done by the end of the year so I can have a fresh start for next year, which makes sense. Most people are kind of doing that with their own jobs or their own whatever. So for me, it's like that also, and I think I'm going to hopefully get there. It's just a process of, figuring it out, really. And so anyway, another album. I wrote about a girl, actually, that I quite liked. Just go off the theme for a moment of rampant homosexuality. It's called Footsteps of the Gods, and actually I started it quite a while ago. And it's about a Gujarati girl, woman, I should say, of course, that I actually like, and I wanted to create like a bedroom pop. Actually, I copied and translated François Hardy's Message Personnel, private message album, which I really love. I love Premier Raconte, A First Encounter, um, on that album, which is the opening song. It's a very, very melancholic ballad, but it's really, really very beautiful, and it's only 4 verses. And so, anyway, but I did this one before, and actually, it's parts of love songs by Birkin, by Jane Birkin, of course, and one or two other things which I wrote about in regards to this particular girl. Actually, I've written a song about her before on the Hey Baba Be Cool. I think it's on Hey Baba Be Cool, called Miss Shah. Just and I had the wacky idea to create a whole original album, actually, totally, about her, called I Love You PS, but I think that's a bit too much of a declarative. And I'm not sure if I do love her, of course, because I don't know. I don't know if it's a projection of my own, like, oh, I wish I wasn't a queer, and therefore, if I just fell in love with a woman. But I don't think so. I mean, I generally feel what I felt it for a long time, so it's not just some sort of, like, amelioration of my sexuality. I mean, I know this. I can fall in love, fall into something deeper than lust, I should say, with women. I don't know with men. I don't know what this. That's part of this whole music on this channel. No, is that I don't know what this has been. I don't know what about these men. I don't know what it's been. If it's been lust or limerence or some misplaced desire or what. I don't know. And so that's a problem. I mean, that's not a problem, but that's part of trying to figure it out, I guess, like, I don't know. See how we go. C'est la vie. So anyway, doing that. I'm gonna write, like, 2 or 3 more albums, actually. But I realized, I just released a song, actually, because I stupidly, got the phone number of the Panther again, because I went through messages, which I didn't know I could do. Because the Jaguar got off Instagram, so I was on Instagram with him still, the Jaguar. But the Panther, who's a different person, I did, and then I added him to WhatsApp without, of course, him knowing, because I assume because I didn't text him or anything. I was cheeky, and like a fucking ghost, like a ghost, which I actually deplore that behaviour in myself because I find it so spineless. But nevertheless, I'm going to talk to him at some conjuncture within this year because I have to. I'm not going to say about the music or anything like this, but I have to say at least, I'm really sorry for ghosting you. I felt really, I don't know what to say, shit. Anyway, so I took his photo from his WhatsApp, which is also rather lackluster, to put it very, very nicely. And I created a song because in my head, this is exactly what he looked like when we made love. This photo, and you can see it. It's part. I put it as part of the Beku to Mike album. But anyway, it will stand alone, as it were, because of how the things work on YouTube. But it's that's his photo, this picture of him. I think it must have been from a few years ago. Because I've seen him recently this year and earlier, and he had long hair, and he looked slightly different. But I don't know why. Anyway, I took a photo. I don't know why I took the photo, but so I did, and I thought, well, fuck, I can't just stay here. I have to do something with it. So I made a song called As I Knew Him, and so I just sung a refrain over that, and then just recorded over or under an organ loop. So I don't know, and that got me thinking about one that I hadn't finished previously, because I thought that Smile with Beauty would be the sort of end of it. I don't think I said at the time in another accompaniment to the music university, but I realised that wasn't the case actually, and it just didn't seem to quite. And I don't know if this will ever happen. Hey, like I don't know. I think the only way for me to stop making the music specifically about Panther, maybe I think this will be the last one, but maybe is actually to talk to him. I mean, imagine that. Wow, like imagine that. What an avant-garde idea. Like, fuck, man. Anyway, in the meantime, before I can pluck up the sort of balls and the courage and all the rest of it, and actually fucking spine that's not a chocolate eclair to grow one. In the meantime, I've written this album called The Uncle, which is not actually. I mean, it is sort of there's references to him, but it's not actually about him in the same way the others have been. But it's more like, in a way, it's more about him as an older man, actually. So it's kind of like yeah, like false moments, stolen moments, false moments. The first record about him is actually kind of like as if he was a child, and the Iridescent Panther is about kind of in a way me in Bangalore, him in Bangalore. It's a weird. I don't quite still know what that was. Anyway, and then obviously Baku to Mike is about that night that we shared, and then sort of imagining it as a sort of like romance in a way in the Deccan Plateau, and us like anthropomorphized into, or the opposite of anthropomorphized, into animals, and that sort of thing. And then that's why I put that song there, the one I just wrote, the refrain song, because I thought that reveals, like him coming back to being a human and me coming back to being a human too at the end of that record. And then Smile With Your Beauty is, like a lot more about him, me trying to understand him in the context of him within his own head. And so, and then this one, I don't know, I think this one is about that, what I just said, but me. So it's about me trying to contextualize him in my own head, but also like him as an older person, so it's like there's a whole, if you can see it, it's a whole kind of Friedman's triangle, like the plot of a story, like the hero's journey, like it's like that. I don't know. Fuck, man, I don't know. Ugh! Why am I so mad? Just trying to figure out my emotions, Mom. So so yeah. But yeah, it would be an interesting thing to do that and to finish, and God, please let that be it. Maybe then I'll have the balls and the courage to actually say hello. Sorry to ghost you. I thought about you a lot, but I don't know how to say this. Like, I can't just say, hi, how are you? Oh, you fucked me up. But, because that's not exactly the totality of it. And I feel really bad, of course I feel really bad. And I feel really ghastly that I've seen him a few times, and I forgot, of course, like I'm such an idiot. I forgot that I had ghosted him. I forgot that I didn't reply to his last message on Instagram. Social media and this, like, false hyper-reality that we live in. So it's on my, the ball's in my court, and I always thought, I was so in my own drama that I forgot that, and I always thought the ball was in his court, which is just like, oh god, like, just one of those major emotional mistakes in my recent life. There's many, but yeah. And then I thought, actually, to write a novel about Jag, and about him, of course, and the panther. But, I have written a novel about the panther. But I don't know, because I always thought to send Jag those albums, that Hibiscus Convertible and Sing Chic, but I never did, of course, because of course, like, I could tell that the poor chap was totally fucked up. Not to say I'm not, again, like, hello, look at this channel, but just like, wow, man, just on a different level. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't. I don't know. Oh, and the final thing is, I think I'm going to book a ticket to Europe if I can. Just find a really cheap one for a few $100s somehow, and go to Reset. I mean, at the end of the year, next year, I will go, obviously after winter, because it's going to be an apocalyptic winter in Europe by the looks of it. And anywhere where they speak English in Europe, it definitely will be. So, yeah. But, so I'm thinking a lot about that, to kind of see friends, reset, just get perspective. I think Europeans do all this love stuff, with so much more effortlessness and dexterity, and they're not so intense about it, because they're not so insecure about it, one imagines. Because they're Europeans, ruled the world for 500 years, etc., etc., etc. But, so I think to myself, I want to go in there and learn, just by observing, like Paris, Naples, Madrid, Lisbon, I'm not sure. Berlin again, not for very long, as you know, I loathe Berlin, but maybe. And, and just, I don't know, like, just get out of this headspace, and get out of this post-lockdown city, and just, I don't know, this sort of simulation of this place, almost. But yeah, I've got 3 months left in that sense. I've got 3 or 4 months left in Australia. Well, probably 5 or 6 actually. But anyway, I go on this presumption of a 3-month visa in life. I go seasonal. That means I live my life in 3-month kind of utterances. And so, so I'm going to really punch out a lot of stuff this next 3 months, I think, until like the end of the year. So anyway, I'll leave it there. 15 minutes is good enough. Thanks for listening, watching, and yeah, what to do. Life is such a journey. More than anything else, it's a journey. So yeah, okay. Thanks for watching. And fuck, my hair is it's a humidity, father. It's a humidity. Okay, whatever. Thank you. Bye. Bye.